All right. Hi, I'm Heather. I don't anticipate that anyone will watch this live. Maybe someday. There'll be a recording. I don't know. So anyhow, what I'm doing is I'm trying to make sure I actually get some things done today. I'm moving out of my pet sit in today's Monday on Wednesday. So and I've been here a while, so there's more cleaning than usual. Anyhow, and it's also time for the dog's walk, and he's a little annoyed because it's later than he prefers. He prefers an earlier walk, and it has been raining really hard, and I just didn't want to go yet. And I have to eat my breakfast. You're such a good boy, George. Thank you for being patient. We're gonna go real soon, okay? Um, yeah. So if I started one of these things, I knew that it would help me get back to work each time I took a break. Oops, my battery's going to die any second. But while I'm away from my office desk, whatever, in this temporary space, can I Zoom? I don't know. I don't know how to control anything. I guess I'll just leave it. I could also move my table. So yeah, when I'm away, it'll just show something really pretty like this. And when I come back, I'll be nearby. And let's see if I can get it. You. And I'm also practicing, like, all kinds of stuff. Lighting, setting up, temporary studio, like whatever. So that's partly what I'm doing. Also, okay, how technical. Nice. Around. Let's turn it around. And let's see here. Oh, yeah, okay. Over there. Oh, over there. I have my travel altar, which I always have with me. It helps me stay grounded. Okay, let's see. Now maybe I've got a little more flexibility. Well, it's not really. Ooh, maybe I'll turn that overhead light off. Yes, I'm getting it worked out, George. Thank you for your patience. Let's see. It's such a pretty light fixture. Okay, I guess when the lights are on, it'll be more notable. All right, so I'm gonna eat my breakfast. I maybe start talking a little bit, but yeah, I know nobody likes to watch somebody eat, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, gotta eat some bites, can't keep talking and not eating. Getting a little shaky because I'm a little hungry. Okay. Oh, and I'm hot. Let's take the hoodie off right now. It's about to go outside, and then I really gotta eat. Okay. Too hot. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, hey. Hey, sweet George, right there under the table. So, I guess I'll do a little talking while I continue to wait for my very hot cereal to cool down. So, some of the things I've been doing this morning that I'm really proud of is noting down some of my accomplishments year to date, 2024. And I'm trying to figure out where I want to sit. It doesn't matter. Yeah, year to date, it is now first few days of February. And I guess it's not just Q1. I'm kind of looking at December as well. And at some point I could go back to November and take that out. Anyhow, my goal, my kind of baseline income goal per month is $2,000. At $2,000, I'm able to keep up with all of my bills. I'm able to handle like small, like, oh shoot, I need this thing that I didn't plan for. Smaller stuff I can get without too much stress. But at that level, I'm not like, I do have a little bit of credit. I don't have enough or kind of ample left over at that point to be able to like really pay that down. And so I'm proud that I've made my baseline, proud that it was so consistent and as I anticipated. And, I really appreciate being able to make accurate estimates. and projections because that helps my stress level a whole lot. And I earned that through a variety of sources, primarily blend of pet sitting and Lyft driving. But on top of that, I also each month typically receive some deposits for future pet sits. And so that's income for that current month, as well as at Christmas, I received a really generous gift from a family member, and a couple of really generous tips. So those added, obviously. So cash wise, I am doing a great job with consistency with my baseline. I do see places where, when I have the time and energy and support and inner resources, I could quite easily add some additional income streams, primarily through putting Amazon links on videos where it's appropriate. And so, low key, like just saying, like, this is the easiest way to find the thing I'm talking about. Here it is. And by the way, one of the ways that you help me out a lot is by clicking on one of my links before you go to Amazon, because then I get a piece of 24 hours worth of your shopping on Amazon. So, especially if you're going to do something big, please give me a cut from Amazon's income. I'd appreciate it a lot. And that's a way to benefit someone like myself, like a content creator, a community gatherer, a resource. I don't get paid for a lot of the cash. I don't get paid cash. A lot of the like of service things I do, of course, because that's volunteer. But also, I do a lot of pro bono. I guess I'll put it that way. It's pro bono work. I do it joyfully and from my heart, but also because I have been living a lifestyle of recognizing divine compensation when it arrives. And literally, I've been translating that into cash, currency, translated it so that it's in actual dollars. And the way I've done that is when I'm thinking about something that has elevated my life experience, but I have either paid far less for it or nothing at all than I would if I had traded cash. And so if it elevates my experience, I did not trade cash for it or very little cash. I budget that in. So I'm living temporarily in a beautiful home. I am going to look up Airbnb, something similar in a similar location. How much would that cost? And I'm going to guess it's extraordinary, maybe in the range of $1,000 a night. I don't know. And then multiply that by the number of days I was here and got to enjoy this lovely space and literally fall in love with this dog, George. Fall in love with George. What would I have had to trade cash-wise in order to pay for this place? Instead, I am receiving cash compensation as well as the divine compensation of being able to rest and heal and create in this space. In some ways, I love having expansive space to work with. Generally, though, I try to keep the space I inhabit fairly small, even in a big home, because I'm responsible for cleaning up after myself. And the less space I use, the less cleaning I gotta do. But I've been here long enough that I really wanted to inhabit the space. So yeah, that's one way that I can calculate divine compensation. Obviously, I can't calculate the value of that once in a lifetime sunrise that I saw last Monday when I did go ahead and go out trying to drive Lyft. It ended up being I'd only made $35 in an hour, and I was already kind of tired. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do it this morning for my average pay. It really is more valuable to me. I need to make more than that. But because as soon as I was leaving the house and all the way to downtown, including with some riders, I got to enjoy that once in a lifetime sunrise. I got to talk about that once in a lifetime sunrise with others who had just experienced it. And I got home far earlier than I anticipated. So I recaptured that hour that I didn't trade being out and away from this gorgeous space. And So I can't put a price on that sunrise, but I can say it elevated my life experience um, in a really profound way. So that's another thing. Uh, Also, while I've been here, I attended a women's, in this case, women's only clothing swap at a place called Soma Space, which is like my, hopefully nobody gets annoyed at me using this term, but it's kind of my spiritual home. It's where I started to like really awaken to myself and all the ways I was wearing armored suits. And anyway, I went to a clothing swap. I took a huge bag of stuff that I didn't want anymore and that some friends had given me. And I came home with a small bag of amazing things. Very high quality, great shape, stuff I wouldn't have paid money for because I didn't really need it. And most of it would have been expensive. But since I received it free and I had fun and I ran into a friend and I met a new person, that is a huge value. So I can't put a price on the fun part or the seeing a friend, but I can put a price on, um, you know, going and looking up similar clothes and seeing how much it would have cost if I'd had to pay cash. And so that value will be added to my divine compensation budget as a illustration of translating it into cash terms. So yeah, I'm really proud of that. But cash wise, December, January, February, November, December, January have all been over 2000. February already I can project to be right around 2000 based on work that's already scheduled and a realistic Lyft driving schedule. And I might get more pet sit jobs for February because it's early, but if I don't, I already have an idea of what my income will be. So yeah, okay. I'm sure my oatmeal is cool enough now. So I'm going to take a break from the yapping. Oh, gosh, keep that in. This computer's so old. It doesn't have a battery. And every time the cord falls out, I'm like, oh my God, it's going to die any second. Okay, I'm going to eat. Disregard eating sounds. Okay. It is actually still pretty hot. I'm going to let it cool a little bit more. Just got to keep moving my chair. All right, so one kind of pro tip that I'll make is these beautiful chairs that belong at this table I'm sitting at are very light color, and I don't want to take any risks with dropping something on them. So I've covered the one I do sit on in a plush blankie, and I have covered the table with a multiple layer, like a multiple layer blanket, and in the little bit that the blanket didn't cover, towels. And then the area that I do not have covered, I do not touch it. I might gotten a few fingerprints on it. So, I'll have to do probably a little bit of polishing, but it shouldn't be too bad. I am really proud of the things I've already written down that I've accomplished besides the cash part. I yesterday went through the two channels, YouTube channels I'm currently putting time and energy into consistently as the Art of Processing, which is a collaboration primarily right now with my friends Corinne and Azaria. But eventually I know that we'll have lots of other friends who also kind of come on the channel, either in sort of like a talk show sort of format with me. Well, it could be Azaria and Corinne too, but either in kind of a talk show format or the way that most of Corinne and my and Azaria's videos currently are short little snippets, mostly, of thought processes we're going through or processing that we're doing. And there are definitely some where the person on the video is crying. Rarely is the expression so big that it would be difficult for the receiver to witness. But and typically we'll say, like, if you don't feel like witnessing a bunch of emotion, then maybe don't watch this video right now. But most of them were pretty clear-headed. We're just like saying out loud stuff that we would say to each other. Many of the videos are Marco Polos for each other, and those are just like one-way videos. Then, so it's like conversations between us sometimes, but in separate videos. And there's also a lot of what I call moment of nature videos, and those are just literally either a minute or sometimes longer of just beautiful nature. Sometimes there's talking, most of the time there's not. And the reason why I made so many of those, and Azaria makes them too, Corinne has made some, anyway, there's some from all of us. The reason I make those moment of nature videos is because there have been so many times that myself, my friends that do this channel with me, other people I know, there have been so many times that we weren't able to get out of bed for some reason, or perhaps we're in visiting a city and didn't know how to get to nature, or whatever the reason is, can't get to nature, but really want or need some. So we've made these videos for the witness or the viewer to like hopefully kind of put themselves into sort of a like meditative space where you can imagine that since they're all point of view videos, you can imagine that you're the one experiencing it instead of like someone recording it for you. So you're just walking in whatever the naturescape is that we've recorded, or sitting in it, or so it can be experiential when approached with intention. So the playlists that I made yesterday were videos published in January, videos published in December. I've started videos published in February. And in January, I published 25 videos. I think it was on art of processing. I can't remember now. And like 23 on Scrappy Entrepreneur. So that's exciting. I did not realize I had done that many, posted that many. They're not all recorded in that time frame, but a lot of them were. But others were just finally edited, or enough was put in there so that it could be made public, waiting for future editing, that kind of thing. So, okay, I'm gonna have some more breakfast. Mm-hmm. You're too very stiff, boy. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm. Okay. Okay. So a lot of what I'm feeling inspired to do today are kind of like pro tip sort of videos. A lot of them will be healing oriented, and that's why those will be, when those are standalones, those will be on art of processing. Some of them are dog sitting specific, or just in some way business oriented. Those will be on the Scrappy Entrepreneur channel. But for now, this live video, since I didn't know what I was going to talk about, I didn't know what was going to like really happen. I put it on art of processing because I figure people who come there already have a sense of like, I don't know what's going to happen in this video. There might be emotion, there might not. There might be interest, there might not. So yeah, so far I've made a lot of business videos. Ooh, so cute, George. You see how it's raining pretty hard right now? I think it will really hurt your legs and hips. Yeah, I know you're so frustrated. Maybe we'll put a hot pad on you a little bit. What you think? Maybe when I come back over by your bed, put a hot pad on your hips and legs. Just a little while, see if that helps. Yeah, we try it, okay? You're being patient. Yeah, it's a good boy. We will go for our walkies. Just waiting for a good time. And maybe when your legs don't look like they hurt so much. Okay? Okay. All right. After all that chatting with Mr. George. Let's see. Oh, let me see Mr. George. Hi, Mr. George. The lighting's not quite right. I want to leave that there while I have some bites. Oops, that was loud. Really a beggar, you're a good boy. Mm-hmm. All right, so currently I'm eating oatmeal. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I think this is an excellent food to always have on hand when pet sitting, because it really only takes a few minutes. It is filling. It doesn't have to be just for breakfast. You can put additional stuff in there. Like I have sunflower seeds because I'm seed cycling, which is something you do to try to naturally regulate your menstrual cycle. I'm doing that. I have a gal that I worked with for a long time at my doctor / naturopath / acupuncturist office, and she's guiding me through working with my cycle to get it to lengthen to an appropriate length. So again, oatmeal. I currently have cranberries, brown sugar, sunflower seeds in here. I really like a really big bowl like this to make oatmeal in because my partner can perfectly make a bowl of oatmeal in a smallish, like a much smaller container than this without it boiling over. I cannot ever remember how he does it. I'm tired of asking him, what's your secret? And so now I just use a really big container and then, it doesn't boil over. It gets to about here. So I like that a lot. And every microwave is different. So I can't use his secret, it's not secret, but his special way of making oatmeal because our microwave at home is different than the one we have here. And his at work is different than the one I've got here or whatever. So oatmeal, good thing to have around when you're pet sitting in particular to try to make sure you keep eating regularly and appropriately and as healthy as you can. This so that you can see. Ooh, come on. Gosh dang it, computer. Oh no, you got oatmeal on there. Oh no. Okay. All right. Hey, how come you're not? Oh wow. Are you not plugged in? What's happening? Oh, I hope the computer doesn't die. I just got oatmeal on the charger, I think, and I don't know. It doesn't seem to be making a connection anymore. Okay, it's probably gonna die any second. Oh, good. Whew, got green. Wow, I can't believe I saved that. Okay. I did brush my hair. I know it doesn't look like it. All right. So another thing I'm proud of is I have done several video kind of like interview / conversation style videos. One in particular has already been partially edited into from like a 45-minute conversation that was recorded to 20-something minutes. And that one is about divine compensation specifically. I called it Practical Divine Compensation. And it's with a friend of mine, Alexis Hanley-Trion. I will, whenever I make a video that includes her or anyone else, I'll always include their channel info or their Instagram or whatever. Anyway, we got that 45-minute down to 20-something. And I listened to it and I love how my assistant edited it. I love how she labeled it. I love the everything. I think she did a really good job. So I definitely need to let her know that. I haven't given her feedback yet. And then I had a really lovely conversation with a gal that I've met a couple of times, but had never really talked to at length. named Ilana, and she is an occupational therapist. And we recorded a conversation we had about her work, what she's kind of, in what ways is she a scrappy entrepreneur, and kind of her new thing is kind of unfolding. She's stepped out of conventional occupational therapy clinics that she's just not in alignment with that fucked up system. Anyhow, and she wants to be her like best self, and you can't be your best self if you give all your energy to something besides your life, your home, your health, your family. Just it's not sustainable. Anyhow, so I'm very proud of that. I'm also very proud of I've already done the first round of editing, which is my review and breaking down into chapters, segments, giving directions to my editor. So, and I got that done in the same week that we recorded it. So that's a big win. Okay, I'm going to go back to having some bites. Beep. You hear it? I haven't heard it again. There it is. What the hell is that? All right. Well, it's not making me crazy right now, so it doesn't matter. Do it later. Okay, other stuff I want to do, Georgie. Okay. I guess it is kind of funny. Probably if I hear a beep, I probably should check on it. Okay, I'm going to do that. I gotta go potty. Back. Let's see if I can hear that beep. Oh, it's the answering machine. Okay, just the answering machine. Okay. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm. Mm. Oh my gosh, this isn't gonna be cool, George. Okay, so this house still actually has an answering machine. And it's been so long since I've seen an answering machine that for the first handful of days, when I kept hearing what really sounded like voices somewhere in the house, I was like, oh my God, it's so creepy. I, of course, checked on it the first few times. And then I realized, okay, it's an answering machine, but where the hell is that thing? um, I think about a weekend, I finally found the answering machine. The beep I just heard is unfortunately the answering machine in the kitchen, in the space that I hang out the most. So I guess I'll have to ask the homeowner, like, how do I make it stop beeping? But yeah, we'll see. I might be able to just muffle it too. I might just do that because I don't like to bug the client with little stuff any more than is absolutely necessary. And that's really kind of a little thing. So he's on vacation. He doesn't want to talk to me about this answering machine. Okay, so what else? I know I had a specific things. Oh, another celebration. I'm almost a little annoyed now that this is what's been coming out because I would have made this on my work channel if I knew I was going to be doing this much, like actual work talking. Anyway, doesn't matter. All right, I have an interview conversation tonight with a gal that I met a while back who wants to be wants to do more pet sitting. She's currently on Rover, and it is just not working out well for her. And we actually met when she was a writer. I think it was a morning shift, driving shift with Lyft, and we just got talking about what she was doing, and it became clear she was obviously kind of gig work oriented, as am I, and uh, I told her I was creating a pet sitting course, and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm a pet sitter," and like, great. I really would love people with experience. So, if you're looking to, maybe do some of that work, I would be delighted to have you in my like training program because I will not refer to people that I have not personally trained. But it's great that you have past experience. It's definitely helpful. But yeah, so we tried to connect right away, but it didn't happen, and that's fine. And so now we actually both have thought about each other in the same week. She was the first to reach out, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've been thinking about you." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I had been thinking about you too." But she was the one who made the reach out, which is best because she's the one that's looking for a job. She's the one who's looking for like primary benefit essentially from what I have to offer. And so in that case, while I would have followed up with her at some point because there is obviously benefit to me, um, the ball really is in her court. And when people are really passive about follow up, um, an example, I have offered to a friend of mine to help him get on organ health plan because he definitely qualifies and he has health issues. I have helped. I have offered a number of times. I have offered times when I'm like, I'm available if you are. We just need to sit down for an hour or so. Um, and finally, the last time where it left it, she's like, "You got to tell me when you're available. I've got time, pretty frequently, but you tell me when you're available." And then he's in a accountability group with another dear friend of mine, and it's my partner actually. So uh, he was like he encouraged him to like you got to follow up with Heather to get on health plan. She will help you. She has time, but you need to follow up. He hasn't done it. It's been like 4 days since he said he would. So anyhow, I like the proactive follow up. That's also how the Ilana conversation happened so quickly. Is we kind of talked about it the first time on a Sunday. She was at one of my and my partner's community support slash platonic cuddle gatherings that we do. Um, we talked about doing this video together on Sunday. She followed up within a week. We scheduled it within a few days of her follow up. No, she followed up within a few days. We scheduled it within a week. So, and then that same week, I did the first round of editing. So that's pretty awesome because that's one of the things I'm really excited to do more of is speak to people in my community, particularly those that are in a space of transition from or have recently left, within the past few years, have left the system where their skills usually are utilized and have are moving into more of an entrepreneurial space where they create their own streams of income. That is a really challenging space to step into, especially if on the one hand, you really want to make sure you're doing everything above board and legal and have the right paper trail. That doesn't come naturally to most human beings, let alone if you are somebody who maybe has never worked a quote unquote regular job, so didn't learn the structure that is taught in that environment. Maybe maybe this person didn't go to college, so again, didn't learn that structure. And then so it's then kind of figuring it out their whole lives. And so, the things that often happen is they don't particularly succeed because they don't know how to get past to I have an idea and I do this thing for some of my friends for no money or a little bit, but it's not sustainable. And shoot, I kind of lost the track of what I was saying. Anyway, yeah, I love that space actually. And then maybe they've been doing it and they've been maybe building a little bit of momentum or they're getting really close to finishing their project. The thing about it being independent, being I'm creating it myself. It's kind of from the ground up, and it is a business that's going to be sustainable for life support, and thriving. So that's what there's a lot of other things that kind of define a scrappy entrepreneur, but those are the folks that I am most interested in talking to on the Scrappy Entrepreneur channel. Okay, so what else have I done? I, in my home, have co-hosted 2 leader circles. There's another gal that I've known for a number of years who kind of helps me. And sometimes she, the way she helps is she arrives and she, kind of helps me lightly facilitate the circle. I'm hosting it in my home. I'm kind of most active in cultivating the Facebook group we've created. But having her support is amazing, and I probably wouldn't do it if she wasn't in this support role, and sometimes she'll lead. So um, we've done two of those. No, well, three. Did November, December, January. February is scheduled. It's less than 2 weeks out. Um, and get co-hosted with my partner two community support, three, since in this period that I'm looking at, monthly community support slash platonic cuddles in our home. I changed my YouTube channel that used to be HT Campbell, which super generic. I changed that to Scrappy Entrepreneur. I set up a Google workplace for scrappyentrepreneur.org. So I now have an email address, heather@scrappyentrepreneur.org. I need to set up one for an assistant, but I haven't quite figured out what that one is going to be, what that actual handle is going to be. So I haven't made that one yet. Also, in the past handful of months, my partner and I did these things together. We made appointments, kind of set aside time with some dear friends of ours and said, we just really want to come spend time with you, number one. Number two, we really want to be of service. We can see these couple of ways that perhaps we could be of service to you. In both cases, part of the service was my partner giving a massage for 45 minutes, an hour, somewhere in there, to one was a friend of mine. I guess I could say Azaria. One was Azaria, and the other was, I guess, another friend who probably will be on Art of Processing soon, and is definitely on Scrappy Entrepreneur, is my friend Ayana and her partner Tom. And so Brian gave Ayana and Azaria nice long massages. While Brian was giving Azaria a massage, I went and checked on her car, and it was genius because she specifically asked. I said, what is something that I can do for you while you're in getting a massage that would be helpful? And she knew that she needed to check the oil in her car. She just hadn't gotten to it. She gave me a gallon, or a quart of oil, and I went out and checked it, and it was really, really low. I'm gonna respond. Nope. Let me respond to nuts at all. Okay. Took a boy. Do you feel like it's time? How do you feel? You feel ready to go for walkies? Yeah? So fun. Yeah. We'll get up in just a minute. Let me finish this thought, okay? Good boy. He's Mr. Sleepy. Okay, so I was talking about what I did with Azaria's car. Yeah, so I saw, she is out of oil. This quart I just put in is not enough to cut it. So, and I kind of wanted to get her some flowers, and I hadn't seen them at my Fred's, and so I knew there was a Fred Meyer close. So I just buzzed over to Fred Meyer. There are almost always flowers that are on sale. They're still in good shape, but they're too old to sell at full price, and they'll be really cheap. And so I got her some of those. Yeah, I love to give flowers, but I don't want to spend a ton of money on them. So I got her some flowers, and I got a big jug of oil. I wish I had checked her coolant before I went to the store, because she was also very low on that, but she had some. Anyhow, yeah, I went back and I got an appropriate amount of oil in her car. And when she was done with her massage, I said, you really need to put some coolant in. It's out. And she was like, dang it, I just had that worked on. Why it shouldn't be out? I'm like, you're right, it shouldn't be. So I was really happy to have had the opportunity to do that, because I know the extreme difficulty of a car breaking down and you're not having it. And especially if it is something that is avoidable, but it is really easy to never get around to those things you're supposed to do for your car. Because if you're not even able to like do all the most important things for yourself and your child, um, you're not going to get to the car. But you also don't want to get to the point where it dies on you. And so I feel like checking cars, checking the oil, checking the coolant, taking them to get oil changes. Because that's another thing, she's past due for an oil change. I feel like those are acts of service that I could lovingly and joyfully give. I can't necessarily afford to pay for other people's oil changes, but someday I could. I was inspired to like realize, okay, there's all these little things that especially single parents probably really struggle getting to, because I've seen that I've struggled with those. I've seen my friends struggle with those, and it's stuff that like taking the car to get an oil change, um, uh, power washing the walkway so that it's not slippery, doing little like handyman things around the house that as like a homeowner or a a lightly trained handyman, you can kind of do that sort of stuff. Or if you've got that actual skill set, then by all means, you're even more valuable to friends who could really use a little help and support. Another service that I really want to move into doing, and I feel like I'm cultivating the group that would actually do this, um, is going to people's homes and just give it a good deep clean. Because I think most people like a clean house. A lot of people just do not have the bandwidth to do it. And so sometimes it becomes I can't see it. Or, like, yeah, you just don't get around to those important cleaning tasks. Like one I did for my daughter recently is, she's new to dishwashers. She didn't realize that her dishwasher was coated with mold. And they'd been using it. So I did a bleach treatment on it before I left town the last time I visited her. And I felt amazing to get to do that for her, not only because I know it's extremely important for her health, but also, her and her partner were really excited too. So that was really lovely to give. Anyhow, so that was like the act of service slash, love slash let's, spend time together with Azaria. And then that was actually a little while ago. And then the most recent one is we just went and hung out and played a game and took her dinner and just hung out. Did I get her flowers that time too? I don't think so. I got her flowers. Anyway, and then when we went to visit Tom and Ayana, we knew because it was right after the storm and they had electrical problems and their stove wasn't working. We took them dinner, and Brian gave Ayana a massage. Tom and I hung out, and he did a little bit of sound bath stuff because we both really like it. And then we spent the rest of that time going through his old computer that I was buying from him. So, I when I left, I had given him some cash, which I always feel really good about going, okay, I know that this couple $100 is going to benefit you. I'm receiving this computer that is better than the one I currently have. So that's of great value. I'm getting it at a, really $300. It's hard to get a good working computer. And in this case, it's a 15-inch Mac. I mean, you can get them refurbished in that price range, but I just wanted to buy it from a friend. I wanted to be able to help a friend out. And if I get a year out of this computer before I have to replace it, that's great. Maybe I'll get more. Who knows? So those were acts of service and joyful love that we gave some of our friends. What else? Okay. I think that's all I've got written down right now. I have really utilized the time that I've had some long pet sits recently. This one in particular, I've had the time and energy to really do some good healing for myself. I'm going to do another sauna today. I have a portable sauna. I'm really proud to say that came from Buy Nothing. And the reason why it was awarded to me versus someone else, because of course tons of people wanted it, is because they said I have like a library of healing tools that I loan out to my friends. Um, and so it won't only just be benefiting me. And it's already lived at Azaria's house for a while. It lived at a pet sit client's house for a while when Corinne was going to be at that pet sit client. Um, it's been with me right now. I'll probably loan it out to, maybe I'll let my housemates use it while I'm home for a few weeks. So yeah, it's gotten a lot of use, and not just by me. And it's valuable. That thing would be $300 if I bought it cash, I think, or maybe more. Um, so yeah, having that opportunity to kind of do some of this healing stuff. I've also done yoni steams. I've gotten back into bed, on a couple of days, and just, well, one, and laid there for a while. I've played a lot of video games. Like, these are things I don't have time and space to do consistently at home. So yeah, I'm really proud that I've used quite a bit of the time for that. The other big one that I've done is, the location I'm in is kind of over by Lewis and Clark, which is my alma mater, is much closer to my friend who lives in Selwood, right across the river, much closer to her place. And she currently has rented a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. And I need to count up actually how many sessions I've actually had, but I know one week, the first week was, I think, 4. Last week, I think 3. I think I did 3. I'll count. I'll go look. And this week I'm gonna do 2 because I'm moving back to my part of town on Wednesday, and so I'll just talk to her and see, kind of when I'll be able to schedule it. It's just I won't be able to do more than probably 2 a week. So yeah, so that's huge. That's huge. That's huge. It's another way that I'm able to contribute to her. So she decided this chamber, based on her research, based on talking to people who have benefited from it, based on her strong intuition that it was a valuable investment. She decided to invest. She's she's chronic Lyme. I can't remember if it has a more specific term. She does not work full time. So $1,000 is like a month is like, and is a humongous amount of money, but she knew that it was going to be very valuable. And she's like, well, I can also offer it to friends. If they can help me pay for it, great. If they can't, great. I just want people to benefit, and I'm going to have it anyway. So I will be giving her cash contribution to my use. We've gotten to hang out a little bit, which is really lovely. She just got me a key so I can just go in when, if she's not home. And that's been amazing. And so it's such a cool thing to be able to team up with a friend. There's another friend who's also using her chamber, helping pay for it. So defraying some of those costs, probably the additional electricity costs that there will be incurred, that kind of thing. So that's another really major healing thing I've done. My client did give permission for my partner to come this past weekend, and we had the most amazing weekend. So that was also very healing in a lot of ways. Yeah, it was so lovely. In a million ways, it was so lovely. Part of what was lovely about it was when we first started seeing each other. This little story is going to be about sex magic, so this one would probably definitely go on art of processing. But I know Layla Martin has done a lot of talk about sex magic. I think she's too breathless. I don't. She is. Layla Martin has great information, but I don't love watching her, listening to her anymore. I used to like her more, but now I really love this gal. I think her YouTube channel is called Pussy Powered, spelled PSSYPWRD. Definitely when I publish this segment, I'll put information below. I love her content, especially I've watched a lot of her stuff about yoni eggs, which I've also used my yoni egg this week, so that's another healing thing. She talks about yoni eggs. She talks about a lot of relational, beautiful, concrete and practical, yet also still very spiritual and kind of higher consciousness, sort of relational videos, but also a lot of self-pleasure and sex magic. And what that is basically is, uh, cultivating your body, working with your body so that it can actually be its fully expressed sexual, access the full breadth of capacity a woman's body has. I'm sure a man's body too, but she concentrates on women's bodies. How to peel away all of that trauma and um, story and programming and sex magic is really powerful because definitely just check out her videos. She'll explain it better. But the way I understand it is, especially if you don't orgasm, but it can be done with orgasm too. So, during the act of sexual pleasure, whether that be with myself, and that's one of the things that the gal really, really talks about is um, how regular self pleasure connects you more completely with yourself. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Very messy. So, uh, when the energy of orgasm or unreleased orgasm is really present, like breathing it up into all the chakras. I visualize it as well, and to kind of you know cycling it. And again, I'm not teaching it. I'll try to remember to put some videos down there, but it's kind of cycling that energy because sexual energy is creative energy, not just physical sex, but also yeah. Sexual energy is also the creative. And so if that sexual energy is directed towards myself and through my chakras and with intention and visualization, it can be channeled into new different directions. And often, because my body was so frozen, I often did not orgasm. When my partner and I, we were lovers then, not partners, but it wasn't immediately accessible. It wasn't easily accessible. And so I would feel amazing. I wouldn't orgasm. I would kind of meditate and breathe, that energy up through my chakras. And it just filled me up. And the whole rest of the day, I would be like getting a whole bunch of work done. I'd be having a great time. There was no frustration. It's not a frustrating thing. Oh, I just really wanted to get off. Once in a while, but mostly it's, this energy is still flowing through me. And I can utilize it kind of in a different way than just a single big explosion of pleasure, which is also important. So that's the basics of my understanding of sex magic. It has really worked for me. Specifically, the story I'm thinking of right now is when my partner and I were lovers, and really, we for months weren't having intercourse. We were doing a lot of sensual play, which is really amazing. But anyhow, it was one of the first times we were having intercourse, and I just had this really strong vision, very clear, and detailed and expansive of in a future point where me as a content creator, author, whatever kind of thing, was extremely successful and financially abundant, but that's not the context in which they met. In my visualization, vision, we met in a coffee shop. And he's just the kind of guy that's so friendly and easy to feel comfortable with, that he is able to walk up to a woman he doesn't know and strike up a conversation. And some of those have become friends or dates or whatever throughout his lifetime, the last 20 years at least. Anyhow, the vision. I am a successful woman sitting in a coffee shop. He picks me up. We go on a date. We start seeing each other, but I never bring him to my house. But then finally, he starts to think it's kind of weird. I haven't brought him to my house, so I bring him home, and he discovers, I am extremely successful. I have an incredible home, and he wasn't in the vision again. In the vision, he was like, wow, I didn't expect this. But it didn't feel like I withheld it or lied or anything. It was just that wasn't what our relationship was about. And then kind of fast forward in the vision to future, even further future, where we're partnered and we're living together in the amazing house that I own. And I have created a space, well, we have created a space separate from the main house where he hosts stuff. And sometimes it's cuddle parties, platonic cuddle parties. Sometimes it's not platonic cuddle parties, sexy stuff. Sometimes it's dance with his friends, and it's just my space too. Like I can be there too, but primarily it's his. And he gets to do the things that he loves to do in that space. So that was like kind of the broad strokes of the vision. And then now here we are. That was in 2019, and it's now late January of 2024. And I'm in a house that is expansive and beautiful as the one I saw in my vision, but it's better because I'm not paying for it. I'm being paid to be here. And so I feel like that's genius. And the client gave me permission for my partner to come over for the weekend, and we had the most incredible weekend. And we did actually go to a party that was like sensual, sexual, like, stuff was available that isn't normally available at just an average get together. So not only was that an interest of his and a dream of his to have a partner who is comfortable and okay with him, at least playing with other women, appropriate playing, what I get, not like playing games, but, I actually had to have a lifelong, like, wow, it would be kind of cool actually if I had a partner who liked to, explore different sexy stuff, but I don't really want to be super, edgy. I know there's more to enjoying sex than with, my life partner. So, anyway, so it was my first kind of sexy party with people that I didn't know, and we ended up having a really good time. It ended up being way more relaxed. Not everybody there actually was kind of in the mood for sexy time, and so we actually like played balloons in the living room for a while, like sending balloons at each other and just giggling, and someone was playing great music, and so there's a lot of dancing going on, and I was in the hot tub by myself for quite a while. I loved it. Quiet time, body's hurting, so that helped. Really sweet connection with my partner. So like not only was it that this vision has come to actual existence, but we got to have this really connective weekend where some interests of his that hadn't been available prior, he got to experience, and some interests of mine that I never really thought really would do came to fruition. And so it's this really lovely variation on that vision, and that's one example of how sex magic has done amazing things for me. So, okay. Wow, cool. All right. So this is an hour. I did get quite a bit of actual content made, so I'm happy about that. But it's time for me to turn this off and maybe come back later. And that's it for now. All right.